Good morning. I'm Tina Jennings.
And I'm Heather Stricker. Well, the Yarnell Hill fire was one of the deadliest American firefighter disasters ever, claiming the lives of 19 brave members of the Granite Mountain Hotshots.
Now, those not only in Prescott, Arizona, or really even the United States, but the entire world grieved the loss. There was a lone survivor that day from the 20-man crew, and he is here with us today to talk about his new book, My Lost Brothers. We are honored to welcome Brendan McDonough. Brendan, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I kind of want to start a little bit further back and kind of what you were doing before you joined the crew and how meeting these 19 other men kind of changed your life.
So for me, it was a tough transition. As it goes to the book, you'll see that 6 months prior I was in jail and facing a drug addiction. And I really try and dive into that because I want to be as honest and authentic about myself so people know that I try to put my soul and heart in this book.
Mm-hmm. So then what kind of led you to kind of join the Hotshots? What was that like, getting there and then starting this new job and kind of describe the difference between what you did and firefighters? Because I know that some people aren't sure, the difference.
Yeah, with wildland and structure,
Right.
Structure firemen, they go into houses and buildings and they have SCBAs with fresh oxygen and a little bit thicker gear to withstand higher heats. And for us, we're out in the wilderness, the forest, with our packs and, leather boots and gloves and hand tools and chainsaws. So it's a very different way of fighting fire, but it honestly is the same brotherhood. And I've found that across the country as I've been able to travel and meet firemen all over.
Can I tell you, I posted this morning on my Facebook page that you would be sitting down with us today, and firefighters all over the country have been commenting, saying that, just like you said, no matter where you're at, it's a brother and a sister that you lose, no matter whom it is or where it's at. So you did say this book is going to be very honest. You wanted to be very revealing. How deep do you go into that fateful day that we're talking about, where you did lose your 19 brothers?
I mean, it's as detailed as I can get it to be, and from what I remember and from what the investigation says and from what we've gathered from talking to different people, I wanted it to be everything that it should be, and I wanted throughout the whole book to hold nothing back and to really put myself out there and be vulnerable. So I believe it's going to shed a lot of light for a lot of people, what happened that day that don't know about the story. For a lot of people that do know about the story, some of it might be a little new because it's from my point of view, and hopefully they'll be able to learn something from it.
Absolutely. And from a tragedy like this, a lot of people say talking about it can help. And if you can't talk about it, write about it. And I feel like that's what you've done here. Do you feel like this has helped you at all, writing this book?
Yeah, I think it's been very cathartic. And for me, I had an opportunity to go through counseling and write this book. So when something came out, I could bring it to my counselor and I could face it then and now instead of repressing it and dealing with it later.
Yeah. And we asked you prior to us coming on for the segment, I asked if you still lived in Prescott, and you said, you do. Have you had a chance to talk with other family members or anybody else prior to this book or now that the book is out?
Oh yeah, I've talked to, I keep in contact with as many families as possible. They've been so supportive and a huge part of healing for me, and I just love being around them. They're great men, great women. I love their families, and they're just, people that I like to have in my life and continue to have in my life.
Absolutely. Well, I know just, reading the stories and seeing the pictures from that day, it's just heartbreaking. And it makes you question, are there things that could have been done differently? Do you feel, in your opinion, that there are things that could change for firefighter safety and, for your crew specifically, that you'd like to see changed in the future?
I believe there's a lot we can learn from Yarnell, and sadly, with any wildfire tragedy, we have a lot of lessons to be learned, and I think as time goes on, we're going to learn more about Yarnell and what happened that day, and as other people really truly dive into it. So I believe they are learning from Yarnell, and I think we're going to continue to as well.
And as we know, that day the fire overtook your brothers, and you were the lookout for the situation. And I know, like you said, a lot of us kind of know what we heard in the news and things like that, but this book is going to give definitely a different side to that. So what do you really want readers to kind of take away from your book?
I think what I want readers to be able to take away is, who my brothers were and how important it was to be a great firefighter, but also a dad. and a person in my community, and how much they gave back to me and how much they taught me. And, you know, the resilience that I've shown going through a tragedy like this isn't done on my own. That was done with the help of my community. And when I say community, not only Prescott, but Phoenix, the greater state of Arizona, you know, those people have stood with me and stood behind me and supported me. So I hope I can show that and just give a little bit back of, you know, what I've been given.
Absolutely. Well, I know that lots of people are really excited to read this book. It just came out a few days ago, so congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
This is incredible. And I know people watching might want to learn more about the hot shots, maybe even consider joining them themselves. So tell us a little bit about how they could do that and the training involved.
Training is very vigorous. You know, you go through the Wildfire Academy in Arizona. We have one in Prescott every March, and it's an amazing opportunity to learn from some of the greatest men and women that are fighting fire right now. They come from all over the country, and so that's a great opportunity. You know, you look on the U.S. Forest Service, you can find a list of all the hotshot crews that are, you know, within them. And these men are not only amazing firefighters and women, but they're amazing people to look up to. They're great mentors, and, you know, across the nation, I know that I have mentors everywhere I go through the Firefighter Brotherhood.
Brendan, can you please send our best to the families, let them know that we're sending them the best. And I want to thank you. It was really, truly an honor to have you come and sit with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brendan. And you can find this incredible book on Amazon.com and anywhere else books are sold.